Hi guys, it's your girl Jidida, and I'm super excited to welcome you back to another episode of our ongoing series, Told and Untold Stories. Now, to every new subscriber, if this is your first time here, then I am honored and excited to have you here. You're welcome. And to every returning subscriber, guys, I am so grateful that you always find time to come back. Thank you so much. Like we all know, we've been on this series for 9 episodes now, and it's been a whole lot of stories and a whole lot of lessons being dispensed to us. And just like every other episode, today we'll be seeing more stories, uh, but more towards the angle of just certain events that we will never forget. Now, these events might not even necessarily be painful events, sad events, happy events. It's just something that has happened that has somehow stuck in your memory, and it just makes you so cautious every single time you think of it or remember it. And that is simply what today's stories is going to be about. Guys, we've honestly been receiving a whole lot of stories, and I'm just really hoping that your story was among one of those stories we've heard. And if not, please, it's not too late. We have 2 amazing episodes to go. I am super excited. I did not know we would come this far, but here we are, and we have 2 episodes to go. So if you have not sent your story, please, we do not have forever. Do well to forward your stories to any of the social media handles, and I will be sure to get them and share them right here with every single person. So let's get straight to today's stories. It was one fateful day. I was in Kaduna, and I was going towards Vigachukun. Now, for those in Kaduna, it's after Kawo, right? So I took a bus. I got to Kasua, took another bus, got to Kawo. But when you get to Kawo, there isn't buses going towards Vigachukun just straight up. Most of the buses are going towards Mando. So you either take keke or a shuttle bus. That's those mini buses. I took a shuttle bus. I opened the door. I was going to enter the seat in the middle, and the front door was open, so I used it as support. Like, I held it and went in, but I had not removed my hand. I had not removed my hand from the from what I held to enter the bus and sit down. And okay, because of how the shuttle bus is, someone that is behind can actually close the door. There's a bit space between my seat and the door, so the person behind was just trying to close the door so we can start moving. And I had not removed my hand. I just sat down. I had not removed my hands yet, and he closed my hands inside the door. Now, I've had a lot of painful encounters in my life, but I not as grown up as I am. I think the worst pain I've gone through as a grown up person was toothache. I had my tooth removed, and that's a whole different type of pain. But this one is like, it's live, it's happening. I am looking at it happening, and it's like there's literally nothing I can do about it. Not a pain that just happened and left. I was going through it, and I could not form words. I was trying to tell him, my hands, the door, open it, you close. Like, I couldn't form a complete sentence to get him to open the door, and the bus was moving. Nobody even knew what happened, but as I said, I was trying to just form words to tell him, and finally he realized what he did, and he opened the door. God, I was just praying, please, Father, let my hands be intact, let my fingers just be intact. He opened the door, and everybody was just saying sorry. You know how you don't want to cry, but everybody's saying sorry, and somehow you just cry. Well, I didn't cry at that point, and that taught me one lesson that I will be sharing when I'm done. So when he opened the door, I couldn't even pull my hands. I had to use the other hand to remove the hand and bring it down, and I was just breathing in and out. I was just trying to calm down. I had not started crying. I was just trying to calm down, and then I looked down and I saw my hands were fine. there was just a little blood, a little cut blood, but you will see the sign where the door pressed into my hands. So the sign was there, and then there was a little cut and a little blood. It was at that point when I realized everything was fine, like your hands are intact, you can just let it out. That was when the tears came flowing freely. Guys, I don't even know how I'm smiling saying this, but the tears came, like I was wiping. I wasn't crying, no I wasn't, but the tears were just flowing, and I would just be cleaning. I was literally just cleaning tears, and they were just coming, and everybody was saying sorry. It was just, I didn't even answer anybody. I was just trying to deal with my pain. The guy behind was just, he was so scared. He was just saying sorry, sorry, sorry. I honestly did not answer anybody. Honestly, I can remember clearly. I couldn't bring myself to say anything. I was just, the tears were just coming, and I kept cleaning, and I got to my destination in less than 10 minutes, and I dropped down. I thought the boss man would not collect money, but he should collected his money. I paid, and I think less than 10-15 minutes later, the pain had really subsided, and I could still feel a little numb. My hands were a bit numb, and the sign was still there, but I was able to move my hands freely, and it was a lot better. And I know for a fact that I will never forget that day. Like, I've never been in an accident like that before. Like, I know it's not a serious accident, but I've never been in such position, you get. And I was just grateful that everything ended and I came out in one piece. And the lesson I learned from this story was I think that encounter opened my eyes to the fact that I can actually control myself. Like, sometimes things happen and we are like, we just react, and later on it's like you can't control yourself, you couldn't help it, you just had to react. But that day I learned that I could control myself to a great degree, a very high degree. Like, I cannot even believe how I was able to just calm down and breathe and just really calm myself down before just letting all the tears out. And I was able to relate that to every other area of my life. Like, there are certain things that happen, God, I'm careful to not react immediately. You know, even if it's an accident or just someone doing something to you and you want to react with words or actions, that pause that you take before you react, it always changes your reaction. Like, you can't even help it. That one, you can't help it. So long as you don't react immediately and you take that pause, you take that time to just breathe in and out, you take that 1-2 seconds to just think, like, you don't end up reacting the same way you would have if you had reacted immediately. Sometimes reacting immediately makes the situation worse than it already is. I can imagine at that point, if I tried to pull my hands out, God only knows what would have happened. But I just knew that I had to calm down and follow it gradually. So in accidents, in encounters with people, in reacting to people's comments or people's actions, I have learned to always take a pause and think about it before reacting. Sometimes thinking about it doesn't even mean that you change the words you were going to use, but the fact that you took a pause, the way you would have said it would be different, because that pause has just shut off something in you. It has shut off that level of anger you were at or level of pain you were at. So now that you're trying to just pour it out, you're able to pour it out, but not to that intensity or to that level, you get. And I know that there's sometimes that you'll be like, okay, if someone does something to you, it's good you say it immediately, that you are feeling it, so that you can just say it to the person the way it is, and the person will just get you, bam, the person will understand exactly how you're feeling. Well, sometimes you may want to pass your message across that way. Maybe if you don't pass it that way, the person won't get it. But it's very rare, and I will advise you do that a lot less often, and just try to calm down. You'll always find ways to explain yourself better and just get your message across a lot better. It's as little as you trying to drink water and it passes through your windpipe. You know, at that moment, nothing else matters. As immediately it just passes through your windpipe, it's like a reflex action. You just find yourself coughing, and well, you can actually calm down. Like, I've tried it. It's not that I'm just saying it. I've tried it. You can literally calm down the way you are coughing. Like, you are coughing, but you hold yourself back and not just cough and make matters worse, you can actually calm yourself down and cough gradually till you feel a lot better. It always works. It always works. So I hope that we're able to just always take a pause before we react to whatever thing it is. It doesn't even have to be a bad thing. It can be a very good thing, and you can be so excited that you do something that you are not supposed to do. So even for great news and joyful reactions, we still need to calm down so that we can express our joy and our happiness the right way. You get? So let's go to the next story, guys. So just before I resumed SS1, my father asks me to come to the office so I'd get my school fees and all other related fees and go pay to the bank because my school accepted only bank drafts. I had almost or over 100,000 naira in my pocket. I get on the bus. I didn't really know the way, so I passed the bus stop before seeing Wema Bank. I had to get down and board another bus back. On the bus back, a man heard the conductor giving me directions or something. He sure knew I had money, so he gets on the already filled bus with me and stands behind me. During the journey, I was feeling my pockets that had zipper open. By the time I sought my feelings as real, I comported and caught his hand up in my pocket, then held him strongly to return the money. This man had already taken almost 4,000 naira. It was 200 naira notes. I just collected my money back, every last naira, and got down jejely. I can never forget this experience. Lagos is a madhouse. This happened on the Alausa Orile axis. I learned to always be alert wherever I find myself, especially when I think I know the place so well. I also learned to be very conscious of my environment and the things happening around me. Guys, I literally had to reply when I got this story. I had to reply her and ask her what would she have done if he had actually taken the money and she did not know. And she said she most likely would have been a secondary school dropout. Well, we are grateful to God that you got your money and you did not end up being a dropout. Hallelujah. These are regular things we see on the streets. Sadly, it's not supposed to be, but sadly that's the case. It's not just money, it's your phone, it's your bag, it's your property. Like, it's even different, the ones that try to do it with I don't want to use the word courtesy. The ones that try to do it secretly and run away, or the ones that, like, it's obvious they know what they are doing is wrong, but you see those ones that do it as if it's their right, that will literally collect it and be looking at you and hey, what can you do? Ah, God, that one is painful, girl, because you know that at that point, what can you do? So the best we can do right now is to actually, like she said, be very alert in every environment we find ourselves, especially when we think we know the place so well. Like, you can be so comfortable and so relaxed in certain places, and out of nowhere you just find your things going missing. It doesn't have to even be your things going missing. It is things being done that could be done to you because you were not alert at the things that were happening around you. And I can even say it doesn't even have to be negative things, you get? You know, I really like to compare these things. I don't like to leave them just to the negative side, even to positive aspects of our lives, to good things. If you're not alert to the things that are happening around you, like, good things can come and pass you and you did not even know that something like that came around. God forbid, bad thing. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a bad thing happening. So let's always be very conscious of our environment. When you enter a place, you be sure to look around. Okay, the people that are left and right, what are they doing? What are their body language? What is it saying? Okay, should I chill? Should I relax? Should I be cautious? Okay, what are the things happening? What are the offers around me? What's happening? Like, you don't just come into a place or find yourself in a place and you are just on your own. It will be for you. You cannot just be on your own. When you enter a place, always try to, you must not make a friend, but try to start up a conversation just to understand what was happening before you got in there, and so you can just be informed and know how to go about every other thing from that point on. I know of so many cases that I made friends from buses, from just rides, keke, bus, car, traveling. Like, it doesn't even matter. I know of so many friends that I've made through that means, because as we entered, we did not keep quiet. We decided to chat, and one thing led to another, and we got to make new acquaintances, make some friends today, and we were even able to get so much help from some of these people just because we decided to just get involved with our environment. Now, as much as you want to get involved with your environment, you have to be careful with the involvement you get. You just have to be careful. There's always that consciousness, that alertness, listening to your spirit mind, listen to your instinct, listen to what God is saying to you. Like, all of those things have to be at play all at the same time. So that's why it's called being alert and being conscious. They all have to be at play at the same time. Another advice is, when you are moving about with money or any prized possession, you take extra care and you hold on to it. You don't want to hold on to it so that everybody will know that you're holding something prized, though. You do not have to do it now. You do it with style. You understand? You're just always touching it and knowing that, okay, it's there, it's safe. But you're always touching it, sha. So we just always have to be extra careful. That's just the word. Extra careful and just very observant of our environment. Thank you so much for sharing this story with us. And I guess why you cannot forget this story, because this story is an experience of something that could have led you to be a dropout. But like I said, thank God it didn't end up that way. So thank you again for sharing your story with us. Next story, guys. When you said to share a story with you, this was the first story that came to my mind, and you're the first person I'm sharing this with. Thank you. When I was little, my dad was a very strict person, so guys were not allowed in my house for any reason except my brother's friends. But there was this guy that usually comes around, and my dad liked him but there was this guy that usually comes around, and my dad liked him, so there wasn't an issue with him. He was the only person that came around, and every girl felt free to play with. I was the youngest girl in the house. One day he came around and said I should escort him somewhere, and I did. While we were on our way, we came across a vandalized building, and he said he needed to get something from inside, so I reluctantly went with him. When we got in, he started touching me. I was so young and honestly didn't expect such from him. I was shocked and scared and angry because this was someone my family trusted. He didn't rape me, just molestation. Last year he added me on Facebook and he dropped his number and asked for mine so we could talk, but I didn't. I still see him as that type of person. If you're a parent and you have a girl child, you need to be careful. And if you have a particular person you trust, you need to be extra careful, because they are the ones who use that opportunity to do unimaginable things. So, firstly, thank you for sharing this, because I don't know how these things really work, but I know that being able to speak out about certain things just takes the pain away or just makes you feel a lot better. So I hope that sharing this story with me right now has taken away a lot of weight off your shoulder, or it has just made you feel easier in any way possible. But I'm really sorry that this happened to you, and I have a lot of questions going through my mind, and I have a lot of questions I want to ask and a lot of things I want to say, but I know that this is a very sensitive topic and one that we do have to be extra careful about. So I'll just start with the lessons you pointed out, which is we being careful with the people that we live around, our younger ones, like our young ones. It doesn't even have to be female children, because we know that male children get molested a whole lot. We just don't really hear about it being said, but we know that they get molested as much as the female children get molested. So like you said, if you have a person you trust or someone, like, the sad thing is that these days it doesn't even have to be an outsider. That's the very sad thing, the fact that it happens even within the home, within people you literally feel should be the ones protecting those young ones. Like, you hear the father, you hear the brother, you hear the uncle, you hear the auntie, like these people that are supposed to be the caregivers and the ones to protect and guide the children are literally the ones doing something else completely. So it's really, really sad. But I always have this belief that you do what you can do, right? Do your own part as you pray and trust God, and pray the system is able to do its own part and every other person is able to do their own part. Just do your own part. And your own part is to what? To be careful with your young ones, to be careful with the people you let into your environment, to be very, very cautious of the fact that things are happening, the enemy is roaring and is always there. Sometimes the person might not even come with that intention, but one thing or the other leads to one thing or the other, and it happens. I'm not giving excuses, but I'm just saying that's why you have to be careful. There's no such thing as this person can never do that thing. You understand? We pray and hope the person can never do it, but the enemy, like I said, is always roaring and things happen. So the best thing you can do the best thing you can do on your own part is to be extra careful. Just make sure you always have an eye. It's like the issue of being alert we spoke about in the previous story. Just always make sure you have an eye out and you're literally always looking back and checking, and just always being conscious of everything that is happening around you. And like she said, those people that you usually trust, like those people you literally give an open hand to, open the door to your house to, and just make them feel comfortable and everything, you have to be extra careful about them, because they feel there's this level of trust and there's this level of security they have, that they're able to do whatever they want to do and it goes unnoticed. So you have to just be extra careful and protect your young ones. It doesn't even just concern young ones. Even you as an adult, you have to be careful around people you think you trust that can never do certain things to you. You just be extra careful on your own part, because anything can happen. You, the person being trusted, my prayer is that you just learn to control yourself and just learn to have the fear of God. That's literally the only word I can find to use. Honestly speaking, I want to say learn to respect yourself, learn to consider other people's feelings, learn to do this, learn to do that. But I just want to say learn to have the fear of God in you. Let that fear stop you from doing anything, like whatever it might be. Let that fear just hold you back, knowing that this thing, whether anybody see me or not, there's someone that is seeing me for sure, and that person will judge me and I will pay. Sometimes you just feel like because God forgives, and no, Allah can just do it, God will forgive me. You still chop punishment, and it's like we used to forget that punishment part and just take the forgiveness part. You will chop punishment. You just see certain things happening in your life at certain areas or certain periods, and you're like, why this, why that? I don't know. I'm not saying that's the punishment. I'm just saying that you will chop punishment. So wherever we find ourselves, let's just be extra careful and have the fear of God, and let that be what directs us and guides us in our actions. Because sometimes our environment might not even help us. Sometimes the people around us might not help us. But that fear of God is always going to direct you to do the right thing. That's just one thing that is constant. It doesn't matter where you are or the situation you find yourself. The fear of God in you will always lead you to do the right thing, and that is all that matters at the end of the day. One thing I will also say for to the lady, honestly, I'm not in a place, I feel I'm not in a place to say this, more or less, but I will say it, just because you chose to share this story with me, and I would just love to give my honest opinion. I asked her after she sent the story, I asked her why didn't she say something, and she said she was scared. And I asked her, did the guy come back to the house after that day? And she said yes, he came back a couple of times after that day before he finally got transferred. And I'm like, how is it that we let evil get away? Like, how is it that evil has more guts than good? How is it that you do the bad thing and you are unashamed, you are unafraid, and you that the bad thing is being done to, or you that is doing the good thing, you are ashamed, you are scared? Do you get? Like, just follow me. Don't try to say I don't understand the picture, I don't know what's happening. No, just follow what I'm trying to say. Like, it happens so many times over and over again. It's not just in rape or molestation or stealing or lying or all of those things. It's in evil and good in general. You're doing good and you somehow are the one that is ashamed. Somehow you're the one that is afraid. And the person doing bad is somehow the one doing it confidently, without shame, without fear. How did we get here? And I honestly believe the only other thing we can do from this time forward is to literally stand up for good, to literally speak up for good, to literally speak against evil. Do you get? If you are doing good, be bold, be confident enough to say that you are doing something that is good. It's not even because the person doing bad is confident enough. No, it's because what you are doing is the right thing to do. Do it confidently and do it happily. Don't be ashamed. The person that did the crime should be the one that is ashamed. And if that person is too shameless and so shameless, then you shouldn't have any iota of shame for the person, honestly speaking. So I really wish you had said something. I honestly wish you had said something, honestly speaking, but you didn't, and I'm in no place to judge you for that or to say anything about that. But I would just like you, if I were to be the one, now that he has reached out to me, I will not give my number, but I will send him messages on that Facebook, and I will make it clear to him that I know what you did, I can remember what you did. This was what it did to me. This was what I felt about it. This was how disappointed I was about it. I hope you've changed. I hope you're not like that. I hope you didn't do it to other people. And just take the conversation from there. Do you get? It's possible he has repented and he has changed, and he can sincerely apologize to you and ask you for forgiveness, and you can forgive and let go. That's a possibility. It's possible he hasn't changed and might even deny something like that happening. It's possible. It's just good that you point out evil and call it what it is. That's my point. Do you get? Let him know that what he did was wrong. Another reason why it's good for us to speak up is to prevent the person from doing it subsequently. When someone sees they're able to get away with one form of evil or the other, somehow they just are able to do it again to other people. And the sad thing is, those people they do it to might not be as strong as you are. They might not be able to take it as much as you took it, or they might be so unlucky that he doesn't do it to them once or twice, but continuously, and it might be worse than your case. That's another reason why it's good for us to speak up when things like this happen. It's not just with rape, it's with stealing, it's with lying, it's with anything evil, anything terrible that happens. Be confident enough to speak to the person. I think we spoke about this in one of the stories about a friend covering up for another friend that stole, It's just about speaking up against evil and let the person adjust and correct it, because the person might do it to another person that may suffer a lot more, or might get caught, and it might cost him his life, cost him his reputation, cost him something greater than what will happen if you just point blank tell him or her that what they are doing is wrong, is evil, and they should stop it. So I just honestly wish we will speak up against evil a lot more. I know it's easier said than done. But let's say it's even if it will come out as a joke, say it. Like, just let it out of your mouth. Let it get to the person's ear that someone sees this thing I'm doing as wrong. Sometimes some people know that it's wrong, but because they've not been rebuked about it, they just feel, okay, people have accepted it, let me just keep doing it. Do you get? So let the person know that, okay, someone thinks this thing I'm doing is wrong. Sometimes there's shame that comes with you warning that person, and that shame is able to just make the person adjust and correct their ways of life. We will keep praying for every victim of every form of molestation, whatever form, whatever type it is. We'll keep praying that God heals you and God helps you just let go of the pain, of the guilt, of the shame, or whatever comes with it. Just let it go. Know that it's not your fault. Know that it's not your parents' fault, because I know sometimes you might get angry. Okay, your parent did not allow you to do this thing, and allowing this person to move freely might have been what even led to it. Just be able to let go of every guilt, shame, pain, anger, and hurt, and just move on with your life and try to do better, and just try to just live to your best potential. We will keep praying for that. We'll keep praying for offenders, that God helps them to realize that this life is a lot bigger than themselves. It's a lot bigger than their lives. It's a lot bigger than their needs, their wants. Like, this life is a lot bigger than you. as a person. You cannot allow your desires, you cannot allow your needs, you cannot allow the things that you want control you so much that you begin to hurt other people and begin to do things that destroys other people's lives just to satisfy yourself. This life is actually a lot bigger than that. So we'll keep praying that God helps them and that God gives them victory over every attack of the enemy, because I know it's always an attack. So I pray that God will literally deliver them from every of such attack. These were 3 experiences that we will never forget, and we know that there are so many other experiences that have been terrible, have been good, have been amazing, have been painful, have been hurtful, that we all cannot forget. I'm sure every single person has an experience that they can never forget, and the general prayer I will just say with us today is that God helps us through every hurt, through every pain, through every anger, through every sadness and sorrow that we must have encountered in the past, that is somehow still lurking around in our hearts and affecting the way we do things. My prayer is that God releases us from it all this moment in Jesus' name, and that every good and amazing thing that has happened to us, that has affected us positively and has just brought a new light to our lives and helped us in the way we do things. My prayer is that God will lead us to even more of these amazing experiences. One thing we cannot deny is that certain things happen that are beyond our control. Certain things happen because of the world we live in. But when we learn lessons from them, when we take lessons from them, I hope that we use those lessons. We don't just take on the experience and let it just make us gloomy and sad and angry and all. No, but we take the lessons that we're able to get from them, and then we operate with the lessons rather than the experience. If you were hurt, what did you learn? Okay, it's hard to pick out what you learn because you're in pain, but you know that okay, maybe one thing led to another, or okay, after it happened, this was how I was able to overcome it. Okay, take that and work with it rather than dwelling on the experience that happened that hurt you. Do you get? So God will definitely help every single person at the end of the day. That's my belief. That's literally my hope. God always helps us out of whatever mess it is that we find ourselves in. He's able to turn everything for our good, and that is all that matters to me right now. So just keep being you, keep being amazing. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing month of March. And remember, guys, we have 2 more episodes to go. 2 more episodes to go, guys. You need to share that story with us. You have to share that story. You cannot allow us go without hearing that experience. You cannot allow us go without learning from that experience. You don't want to do that. No, please don't let us go like that. Please bless us with that story so we can learn that lesson and so we can be better. I will see you guys in the next episode. Love you. Bye.